Have you ever been so afraid of failing at something that you decided not to try at all? For example, decluttering. You stare at all the clutter in front of you and you know that something needs to be done about it, but you just cannot get yourself to do it. You're afraid. Now, many of us have experienced this fear at one or other time in our lives. The fear of failing can be paralyzing. It can cause us to do nothing and stop us from moving forward and reaching our goals. But if we allow fear, especially the fear of failing, to stop us from moving forward in life, from taking back control of our homes and our lives, we are likely to miss some great opportunities along the way. Thanks again for joining me today. Please like my page if you're on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, or subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also remember to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and please share it with your friends and your family so that it can help them too.
So the big question is, how do women like us, who are wearing so many different hats each day and who don't cheat by looking like we have everything under control, take back our homes and life, free from the chains of clutter? How do we simplify, get started, get unstuck, let things go and create more time so that we can truly focus on what is essential for a happy and healthy life with our loved ones? That is the question, and this show will give you the answers. My name is Lizelle Tenton, and welcome to the Vanilla Essence Show.
Let's first look at the definition of the fear of failure. It explains quite a lot. Now, the fear of failure may cause you to put off or avoid any activity or scenario, like decluttering, that has the potential for an unsuccessful outcome. Someone with this condition may be scared to try new things, to take risks, or embrace growth because they are afraid that they might fail. But what causes the fear of failure? Where does it come from? To find the causes of the fear of failure, we first need to understand what failure actually means. And we all have different definitions of failure, simply because we all have different values and belief systems. A failure for one person might simply be a great learning experience or opportunity for someone else. The fear of failure is usually accompanied by certain signs and characteristics like anxiety, avoidance, like avoiding to do it, feeling a loss of control, like you're not in control, helplessness, powerlessness. And the fear of failure can also cause physical symptoms like a rapid heart rate, a chest tightness, trembling, dizziness, lightheadedness, and sweating. The fear of failure lets us believe that we don't have the skills or the knowledge to achieve something, to do something, and it makes us feel like we won't be able to achieve our goals, that we won't be able to declutter our homes, and it lets us procrastinate to that point that it affects our performance or our ability to finish on time or get anything done. We believe we are going to fail, so we tell people that we are probably going to fail. So our expectations remain low, and we underestimate our ability to avoid feeling let down, and we worry that imperfections or shortcomings will make other people think less of us, and we worry that we will disappoint others if we fail. How sad is that? I mean, it is stealing so much of us, and it is all lies. In some cases, the fear of failure may even cause people to avoid trying altogether. They give up because they are so afraid that they will try and not succeed, that they will not be successful. They simply decide not to try at all, just to prevent the potential pain and embarrassment or disappointment that they might feel. But let's go back to what causes the fear of failure. There are many causes, but one to mention is having unsupportive or critical parents. Because people who had critical or unsupportive parents were routinely undermined or humiliated in childhood, they carry those negative feelings into adulthood. Also, experiencing a traumatic event in your life can also be a cause of the fear of failure. For example, say that several years ago you gave an important presentation in front of a large group of people and you did very poorly. It didn't go so well, and that experience might have been so terrible that you became afraid of failing in other things, and you carry that fear even now, years later, and it's reflecting on other things that you want to do. But the big question is, how do we cope or handle the fear of failure? How do we overcome it? Firstly, we can consider the outcomes. Sometimes thinking about the worst possible outcome, the worst thing that can happen if you fail, and then coming up with a plan for how you will deal with it if you fail, can help to reduce the anxiety. It can help you to see that it is not the end of the world if you don't get it right the first time, and you will have another plan on how to handle it. You can also focus on the things you can control instead of worrying about everything that you have no power or control over. Rather focus your energy on the things that you can control. I mean, you cannot control the electricity from going out, but you can control having a candle or a flashlight nearby. So choose to focus on the things that are in your control. You can also plan ahead. When you are facing a challenge that might trigger your fear of failure, come up with a plan B or a plan C, just in case your initial efforts or plan don't go as you had hoped it would go. Having a plan B or a plan C can help you to feel less anxious and more secure. Now, changing how you think about failure may also help reduce your feelings of fear. Failure is part of life and can be an important opportunity to learn and grow. It can certainly be disappointing, but remember that success is often reached through a series of failures that eventually ends in success. Now, the wonderful thing about failure is that it's entirely up to us to decide how to look at it. We can choose to see failure as the end of the world, or as proof of just how inadequate we are. Or we can see it as an opportunity to grow, to move closer to our goals. Failures stops us only if we let them. Think of the opportunities that you'll miss if you let failure stop you. Failure can also teach us things about ourselves that we would never have learned otherwise. It can help you discover how strong you really are. I mean, that sweet taste of victory is so empowering. Don't be afraid to fail, and don't let the fear of failure stop you. Start small, have a plan B and a plan C in place, and give that first step. Failing is not the end of the world, and no one will think less of you. Actually, it is just the beginning of your journey. Thanks again for joining me today. Please like my page if you're on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, or subscribe to my YouTube channel. But first, hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and please share it with your friends and your family so that it can help them too.